guys, Nick here helping you to master your technology, and welcome to my Galaxy S20 Ultra versus iPhone 11 Pro Max full comparison. Now, I switched up the background to a black one today, so let me know your thoughts on that really quickly. But let's begin by talking about the prices when these phones came out. The Galaxy S20 Ultra just launched in March for sale. It was announced in February, whereas the iPhone 11 Pro Max was way back in September 2019. However, you're going to see in this video it keeps up quite well, but the S20 Ultra is going to compete a little bit better probably with iPhone 12, but still, these are the two latest you can buy right now. Now, the Galaxy S20 Ultra starts at $1399, which is a huge price for a Samsung smartphone, and the iPhone 11 Pro Max starts at $1099. So for the first time, it seems like the Samsung is actually more than the iPhone, but is it worth more? We'll find out later in this video, so stay tuned. Now, we're gonna begin by talking about the bodies and the build of both of these phones. Now, the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra does feature a weighty 222 grams. So what does that mean in your hand? Well, it just means that it's a pretty big, heavy phone right here. However, I have to state that if you're used to large phones, you'll love the S20 Ultra. You can handle it. If you're used to Note size phones, 11 Pro Max size phones, even 10s Max size phones, you could handle the S20 Ultra. The iPhone 11 Pro Max actually weighs a little bit more at 226 grams, but it feels a little bit more dense, I feel like, because of the stainless steel. It just feels a little more dense than the S20 Ultra, but the S20 Ultra is only slightly behind there. Now, when it comes to the glass, we have Gorilla Glass on the front and back of both of these, but I have to state that I still think the iPhone has got Samsung beat when it comes to this texture on the back. It just doesn't attract fingerprints. It's very easy to clean, and it just looks great pretty much all the time. So the back of the 11 Pro Max, I do believe, looks better than that of the Galaxy S20. That's all of them, any of the S20 series phones. You can see this will attract fingerprints if you do, place your phone in your hand without a case most of the time. That's what's going to happen to the Galaxy S20. You're just going to get those all over the place, and you're going to have to wipe that thing down quite a bit. And both of these do support IP68 dust and water resistance. So if you do submerge both of these phones in water, I don't know why you would, but if you do end up dropping them on accident in the toilet bowl or something like that, you are going to be a-okay. They're not going to die out on you. They have pretty good water and dust ratings. Now, talking about kind of like the display, you can see we have a 6.9 inch display here, and this design difference is huge. That notch versus the little Infinity O. I do believe Samsung has got Apple beat here. And what Samsung has done with the Galaxy S20 series is they still have a curve, but they made it very slight. So it almost feels like a flat display, but still wrapping around the edge of the panel. It's absolutely beautiful here for the Galaxy S20 Ultra. You can kind of see it right there on the sides of this phone, and just look how thin the bezels are. And they also made the Infinity O display actually smaller, so that little cutout is actually smaller than ever for the S20 Ultra. The chin is still, it's a pretty decent size, but very small. I mean, this is a pretty much all screen phone here in the S20 Ultra, whereas with the 11 Pro Max, it's a very flat display, so you might love that, but you can see the bezel running around the edge of the iPhone 11 Pro Max is definitely more noticeable, and the chins are about even now, but you can see right here, the notch is just something that is just not pretty by comparison, in my opinion, to that Infinity O. But at the same time, they're both very beautiful phones, and I think that most customers choosing between both of these are going to absolutely love both of these devices, depending on either one you go with. From a build quality standpoint, I gotta state the 11 Pro Max's stainless steel feels a little bit better, but it's very slight. Now, take a look at the back camera bumps on these. The iPhone 11 Pro Max is actually way more flush with the body, and usually I'm telling you that Samsung phones don't have big camera bumps, but this year the one on the Galaxy S20 Ultra is big, but it doesn't really matter that much because you just put a case on it and you cover it up. Now, taking a look at the right sides of the phones, you can see that the 11 Pro Max has a nice big power and Siri button, very easy to reach, and it's pretty darn large, so it's a very good button. However, it splits the volume rocker and the silent switch on the left side, whereas with the Galaxy, the volume rocker and the power button has been moved lower for easier reaching, is on the same side. So I think it's more intuitive to have both buttons of the power and the volume rocker on the same side. Even though you don't have the silent switch, that's pretty classic iPhone. I do like how Samsung has put it on the same sides. It's just very intuitive. And moving Moving on to display quality now, both of these are extremely good displays. Super Retina XDR OLED, Dynamic AMOLED, the marketing speak for just AMOLED displays. Both of them are very good. 6.9 inch on the left, 6.5 inch on the right, at 89.9% screen to body ratio for the Galaxy S20 Ultra. That's what I was talking about, pretty much no bezels. Over here, 83.7. So what you basically can see is more bezels because it's just less screen than the Galaxy S20 Ultra. Now, 3200 by 1440 pixels on here. So this thing is rocking a ton of pixels, and you have the motion smoothness you could change to 120 Hertz, something you can't do on the iPhone 11 Pro Max. It's stuck at 60 Hertz. However, it does have a 120 Hertz touch sample, so the smooth feel of opening apps will be very fast for iPhone. Now, both of these can get around 800 nits of brightness. However, I find that only kind of kicks on the Galaxy when it needs it, like in sunlight, whereas it can kind of be tweaked by yourself on the iPhone. So the iPhone can sometimes look brighter. HDR10 Plus support on the Galaxy S20 Ultra. And also this phone has a little bit higher PPI at 511 PPI. So when you're getting really close to the text on the applications, you're gonna notice it's just sharper on the Galaxy, especially when you tweak it into the QHD mode. So you have to go down here, turn on 60 Hertz, and then you could go to WQHD Plus. Now, right now, you cannot use 120 Hertz in WQHD Plus. I believe Samsung's gonna update that soon, so you can use it in any mode. That will be great. But for now, you have to use 120 Hertz in 1080, which does lower the overall PPI. Over here for the iPhone 11 Pro Max, because you don't really have to tweak the sharpness of the display, it's always looking sharp at 458 PPI, and it looks darn good. I really love how much brightness is usable here on the iPhone. You don't have to wait for the sunlight to kick on to see it. It's super bright pretty much anytime you want to tweak it to be super bright. So beautiful display here as well. Now, really good wide color gamut on this phone and Dolby Vision, you know, all that stuff, all that marketing stuff, just basically watching movies, reading text, everything is phenomenal on this iPhone 11 Pro Max display. It was a nice upgrade over 10s Max. So for display, I just have to be honest though, as much as I love the brightness of the 11 Pro Max's display, another thing is that they both do have a dark mode. So just press in here on the 11 Pro Max here, and then just go over here to dark mode on both. So they both do support that similar feature where everything in the OS will get a little bit darker for you. Now, one thing the Galaxy doesn't have is a True Tone like feature, but here's the thing. If you just go over here and turn on blue light filter, let's go over here, blue light filter, you kind of lower it way down. You can almost emulate that True Tone like look, but you do have night shift here on the iPhone as well in display. And if we go to settings here and we go to display, you also have the ability to change this between a vivid and a natural mode, which you can definitely tweak it to look True Tone like if you do want that. For the Galaxy, again, you have advanced settings here as well. You can change the RGB settings. Now, in addition to that, if you scroll all the way down to Video Enhancer and you turn this on, the minute you go to YouTube, it'll just blast the brightness and contrast and it'll look beautiful when watching content. So there's some neat touches in the display features for the Galaxy, whereas with the iPhone, you got some neat touches as well. Bold texting, you could change the standard icons to the zoomed icons. You have True Tone. There's just less things to tweak on the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So if you like to tweak your display, the Galaxy's where it's at. I just like the overall more screen to body ratio on the Galaxy. It's smoother display at 120 Hertz. It's a sharper panel. I'd pick the Galaxy if all you care about is your display. When it comes to software, which one wins out? Well, at this point, I'm pretty sure you've seen videos or learned the differences between Android and Apple, but if you don't know, there's a lot more customization. You got things like wireless power share on here. If you go to settings, there's features for days. Go down here to advanced features and there's so much you can do. You could reduce animations, you could do one-handed modes. There's multitasking. This is one of the major differences between them. Pop view, the ability to have a, YouTube video just kind of go down to the corner while using it. Really the big difference I find here is the ability to move your apps wherever you want on the screen, theming options, customization, and multitasking. That is the big difference between Samsung phone and the iPhone. Now, over on the iPhone software, it's the grid of icons you're used to. It's kind of, you're within Apple's ecosystem, but you know this already. What the trade-off is though, is that you really get no real customization besides a wallpaper. However, Apple is improving in that they're giving you really nice widget tray over here that works well with your other products. So I do like the widgets over here on the left. If you go into the App Store, what you're gonna find is really good polished applications and polished software. So while you can't customize it the same way as you can on the Galaxy over here, what you will have in return is some really polished software, where the Galaxy can get pretty messy and it can be frustrating sometimes to find apps because things can be all over the place. So you really got to take some time to set up the Galaxy the way you want, unless you already had a backup and you just restore it from your prior Android phone. But if it's your first time coming, it's going to be an hour or two before you get it looking exactly the way you want. Now, when it comes to software updates, you are going to receive longer software update support for the iPhone as well. However, Samsung is going to give you 2 to 3 years. They might even get you in that third year. 2 is pretty standard though. With the iPhone, you might go 4 or 5 on this one. So if you plan to keep these phones a super long time, software support is key for iPhone. However, you have to keep in mind that this hardware is so good on the Galaxy that even if software support does end, you'll still be getting security patches, and the hardware is definitely strong enough to, you know, still be used even if the software stops getting the latest updates. So you got to really think about how important is the updates to you. Now, when it comes to performance, we already talked about it. We did a speed test comparison between both of these, but the Samsung is just a smoother performing phone at this point. 120 Hertz is the key separator. It's what makes it feel smoother, but I should mention that even on 60 Hertz, this phone is still very smooth. It's actually smoother than prior Galaxies, even on its 60 Hertz mode. But I'm gonna apply the full HD plus mode, switch it over to 120 Hertz, and you're just gonna see a super smooth display. This thing is just incredible. You have to see it to believe it, because I know a lot of people's experience of Samsung has been slow, choppy, laggy, but you got to try these new ones. They're just very different. As a matter of fact, you can see some chop on the iPhone after using this 120 Hertz Galaxy phone, which is very strange for me to say. I did never think I was going to be saying that I could actually see some choppiness on an iPhone, but you do see it after you're using something with a 120 Hertz display like the Galaxy S20. This is even better than 90 Hertz like you see on the Google Pixel 4 XL, as well as OnePlus 7T Pro. But at the end of the day, one thing many people fail to forget is that both of these phones are generally doing the same things. They got messaging, their communication tools, they're great internet browsers, they're like computers in your pocket, both of them. So if you just learn a little bit how to use each system, you could get by using either, and you're gonna have pretty much all the same services and features. It's just a little bit of a different experience. So when it comes to storage, I have to say that the iPhone has some really good storage in the way that it works. So like you can take a lot of photos and videos and it doesn't seem to be filling up that fast. Whereas with the Galaxy, I could kind of fill this thing up a little bit faster. However, the Galaxy does offer more storage. You can get 512 gig plus add a 512 gig, you get over a terabyte. I mean, it's a ridiculous amount of storage you can get on the Galaxy phone. You can go up to 512, but your price actually increases to above the Galaxy S20 Ultra if you go with the 512 iPhone 11 Pro Max. So let's just put it this way. Both of them are rocking some beast storage, plenty more than most people are gonna need. So what about their audio performance? Which one comes out on top? Let's check out the Galaxy.
S20 speed test. Let's begin with a boot up test in 3, 2, 1 and see how fast they do turn.
So you've seen from the Galaxy that it was definitely a very solid, very loud audio performance. Now, if I go over here, you can see if I turn off Dolby Atmos, it will get a little bit lower.
Now, this is a great...
Kind of mutes the audio. So I think most people are just going to leave that on pretty much all day, every day, unless they're really trying to lower the volume. Now over here on the iPhone 11 Pro Max,
S20 speed test. Let's begin with a boot up test in 3, 2, 1 and see how fast they do turn on. Now,
to my ears, the Galaxy sounded a little bit louder, but the iPhone sounded a little bit crisper. So really down to that. Loud, crisp. Neither of these have a headphone jack, and you do have Bluetooth 5.0. You can get Galaxy Buds or AirPods for either. So, you know, audio to me is pretty much a draw. Just not going to be a deciding factor between both of these. Okay, so talking about the battery life. Now, at first, I was having trouble with the S20 Plus getting through a day. I don't know what was going on, but then the phone started to break in after a couple days, figured out my usage patterns, and now I'm having trouble making the Galaxy S20 die in one day. Now, I will state one thing though, the iPhone 11 Pro Max seems to be lasting a little bit longer for me. It can stretch into the second day with a little bit more battery life than that of the S20. So this 5,000 milliamp hour battery for the S20 doesn't mean that it's so much better than the 3969 on the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Now, one funny thing though is that the 11 Pro Max does come with 18-watt charger in the box. This one comes with like a 25-watt charger in the box. So the Galaxy Charge is ridiculously fast. You put this thing on charge, go in the other room, go take a shower, go make some food, do whatever you're doing. Come back, the S20 is going to shock you how much more battery it has in just like 20 minutes or so. The iPhone can do the same, but not quite as quick as the Galaxy. So I would pick the Galaxy if you like fast charging. I'd pick the iPhone if you like better standby, because I do find that even with this S20 Ultra, with all its power, I'm still losing 5 or 6% in standby overnight. Samsung still hasn't figured this out, and it's very annoying to go to bed with 100 and wake up with 94 or 95. It's extremely annoying. You go to bed with the 100% on the iPhone and you're waking up with 100%. So standby king on the iPhone. I think both of them are going to be very impressive for you in battery life though. However, like I say, faster charging, get the Galaxy. Better standby, get the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Comes to their cameras, probably the most deciding factor here. If you want to see a ton of samples, I spent like 5 days creating a camera comparison. We zoomed to the moon on the Galaxy S20 Ultra. Go check it out, link above or link down below, but I will show a few samples in this video if you don't want to click out right now. Let me go ahead and bring this S20 box in here, and we'll open up the cameras here in a minute. Now, the iPhone 11 Pro Max, I was raving about that camera for quite some time before this one came out here in the Galaxy S20. Now, the S20 to me sometimes has some focusing issues. I don't know what's going on there, but it has a very nice wide angle. The iPhone's a little bit smoother with the camera. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but both of them are very pro. They can both do, 4K 60. The Galaxy S20 Ultra can do 8K video, like up to 8K recording. That is pretty insane there, but I don't know how many people are gonna actually use the 8K video recording, but it is available for the Galaxy S20 Ultra. And of course, you got all these settings right here within the app. And I do think that Apple did improve very well on the camera app, being able to tweak it without having to leave that camera app. A lot of features now come down here, the aspect ratios. That's why I really like this phone's camera quite a bit. Also, an update brought the ability to change your video settings right from the app. Apple finally now has a phone that you don't have to keep leaving the camera app to change some of your primary settings. Now, they both have similar features, like you can hold down to record here, you can hold down to record here, you can swipe down to do a shutter, you can swipe to the left to do a shutter. A lot of similar stuff here on both. The megapixel count is huge upgrade for the Galaxy, and you can get sharper photos for that phone. However, the way Apple processes the photo and just the overall results just seem to be very pleasing on the iPhone still. When it comes to modes, Samsung is always going to come with a ton more modes than Apple's going to give you. And so the camera software tends to remind me of just Android versus iOS. More features, more minimalistic here, more simple on the iPhone. But both are pretty similar in the way they function. So I think anybody can open up these cameras and kind of know how to use them. They're both very intuitive. So you're probably asking, Nick, bro, I get it. I understand the cameras. Please just tell me which one is better. Which one did you like better? And it's really not a clear answer, but for me, for photography, I like the Galaxy better. It can zoom much farther than the iPhone, and the photos at 108 megapixels can be extremely sharp if you nail the focus. Now, I also like the fact you can 8K video record. That's pretty awesome, but you see there's some focusing issues going on with the Galaxy right now. Whereas with the iPhone, I would pick the iPhone for video. So because the iPhone has great video focus and really competitive photo quality, I think it's the more stable and safer choice here when it comes to the overall camera experience for the general everyday user. If you guys aren't afraid to mess around with the camera and really, you take your time, you're pro basically, I think many more might appreciate this Galaxy S20 Ultra more because it has a ridiculous amount of zoom, up to 100x. And so when it comes to the better phone call mobile reception, the Galaxy, it's no contest. It's 5G phone. It already has better phone call quality. It has better reception than the iPhone. Every time I'm picking the Galaxy on this one. And if you're in an urban area, you get even better reception and mobile phone call quality and stuff on the Galaxy. The Galaxy has got the iPhone beat here when it comes to phone call quality and, you know, LTE, 5G, that type of stuff. The iPhone's behind here. And another question is, which one will last longer, the Galaxy or the iPhone? Honestly, both of these will last equally as long. In terms of software updates, they will be more supported on the iPhone 11 Pro Max. In terms of software updates, the 11 Pro Max, of course, is going to beat the Galaxy in long-term software support. But even though it can beat it, it doesn't mean the Galaxy is just going to all of a sudden stop working. It's just not going to be on the latest software. But because Samsung does a pretty good job of making their software pretty stable, you're still going to be able to use this 3-4 years if you want to on the S20 Ultra. You just might be on a year older software. So which one should you buy? This was a lot closer than I thought. The Galaxy seemed like it was going to just crush this iPhone 11 Pro Max. And for a lot of people, it does crush this iPhone 11 Pro Max. But surprisingly, this iPhone 11 Pro Max still has a lot of things it beats this Galaxy on, like the feel of the back plate here on the back of the phone, better video quality out the gate. I think Samsung could match them if they can prove this with a software update, these focus issues I'm having with this phone. In terms of display, Samsung's got them beat as always. Battery life, it's a bigger battery in the Samsung, but they both seem pretty comparable. The Samsung phone does have the smoother feel, smoother display, but it's still going to be down to you want iOS or do you want the Samsung One UI. I also think that they're so similar. If you're open-minded enough, you can just use both, or you can have the iPhone 11 Pro Max and a Samsung phone. Not necessarily both of these, but it's not hard to just use both if you just like both platforms. So that's it for me. If I had to only pick one phone here, it's really, really tough, but I would probably pick the iPhone 11 Pro Max just because I know it's gonna last longer in software. I like the video performance right now, and as good as the Galaxy is, it's just not quite as refined and polished as the 11 Pro Max, but it is so close, man. It is so close, but I was really disappointed with this video quality. I will do an update video if Samsung does fix this focusing issue that I seem to be having pretty much every time I open the camera app on the Galaxy. I will do an update video, and my thoughts could change, but as of now, I still find the 11 Pro Max to be the more polished, refined phone. I can't wait to see what happens with the Galaxy Note 20, so be subscribed to see that comparison later this year. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Any questions, comments, concerns, drop them down below in the comment section of this video. If you found it helpful, entertaining, informing, I would appreciate if you leave it a big old fat thumbs up. Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well and peace.